Revolution is upward movement through the increased mental ether fire formula of the sons of nature, appointed by absolute nature, the one supreme being. This increase causes revelations and inspirations. Thus, re-elevation is going upwards, called in religion the rapture via Ra aperture, which means that the sun will characteristically open its all-seeing eye or lenses in a larger aperture to ensure that a sufficient exposure to ether light and energy will pour forth in its prominence, rays, to all who can receive them ether utopian beings, nuba or new souls. However, unlike its religious understanding, the true rapture is overstood as all space, all matter, and all time-making degree changes upwards, so to speak, in unison, now, on the right side of the SMAT circle of order, Ma. Revolution actually means the reversal of evolution by way of the positive forces of nature, reversing the things that occurred in the evolutionary cycle by way of the negative forces of nature. The correct overstanding has nothing to do with religion and the spirit dead's power over the living dead, and more to do with the season/cycle of almighty nature we are in, the revolutionary cycle/quarter, bottom right, from point 3 south to point 6 east. The prime purpose of religion is to spellbind people to do the will of the dead for survival of the dead. Religious worship increases the power of the dead, and makes the dead stronger to cause more suffering and more death, and the more deaths there are the stronger the dead get unless the deaths are neutralized and counteracted by new cycle gases, the revolutionary cycle gases. The Father Son of Nature unleashed a powerful solar flare on Friday, January 4, 2002, 1 + 4 + 2 + 2 = 9. Researchers said it was the most dynamically complex coronal mass ejection, CME, ever witnessed, at the time, which triggered many powerful high-energy solar protons thereafter since 2002, like July 15 of the same year. They are the literal sun powers and forces. What most mundane scientists neglect to say is that we have had numerous solar flares, coronal mass ejections, since the mid-early 90s, all of which affect our physiology and mentality in various physical, spiritual, ethereal, and mental, psychosomatic ways. It's not just some celestial 4th of July fireworks show. Now, walk in the light of the sun literally. The physical resurrectionists of the mental dead, the ether emanations of the sun is increasing the dominant ether formula from 3 ether to 4 ether. We are revolving on the circle of existence from a third to a fourth dimension of space, matter, and time. His mind can only comprehend 3 in space, 3 in matter, and 3 in time, and nothing above that limited range. Thus, the actions or sound right reasoning of the Father Son of Nature, who was appointed by absolute nature, confuses them. Solar flares increase the overall ethers in space, matter, and time. They have been increasing every year, so they will continue to be more powerful, increasing 9 mind powers and forces, revolutionary gases, revolving ether utopians. See NOAA? NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is phonetically NOAA, NOAC, NOAC, which means to rest/and light upon. The NOAA is a division of the U.S. Department of Commerce because commercial transactions are based on contracts, and we all contract with the Son of Nature every day through contact with the sun for life, light, energy, warmth, nutrition, etc. This cloud, and others to come, eject from 9 ether forces in the center of the sun as 9 ether energy, solar rays, which affect us by raising our ether formula, artistically viewed and metaphysically called a nimbus cloud. These ejections affect us Ethiopians by race in space, matter, time, and mind. Thus we are those who accept absolute nature, all, as the one supreme being, and those existing on cloud 9 as cloud 9s, no 1/nun 9 plus nimbus cloud, which are Nunibus, Nunibus, Nun.nibus. On April 26, 2005, sunspot 756, 7 + 5 + 6 = 18, 1 + 8 = 9, expanded rapidly to over 5 times the size of Earth. Again, this solar activity will increase. 9 mind you, all weather anomalies are a direct result of solar, stellar, and celestial activity, specifically affecting land, water, and air masses, as well as free energy, ether fire, in the atmosphere. The sun directly affects all weather patterns. In fact, it is the source of them all. For instance, the sun's activity starts various wind currents in the atmosphere, which create weather systems and patterns and causes them to clash, creating tropical storms, depressions, and hurricanes originating from off of the west coast of Africa, which consequently hit the Caribbean, and South and North America, etc. Father God Son creates them, Mother Goddess Earth rotates them, Mother Africa throws them as fastballs, to consequently hit the ghost man's kingdoms as a part of natural law. The nature of nature moves indiscriminately in seasons and cycles, making necessary alterations and alternating in its forms to balance itself in degrees, including all of its members and parts, each serving its purpose in almighty nature, which includes God-man, the Ethiopian race, and mankind races. We all exist on the circle of existence. Nature controls all, and will take its course regardless of what human or subhuman egos say. Even the Ghostman's so-called weather programs and manipulation devices are still created by the aid of, or influenced by, various spirit powers and forces within nature mind, so the credit still goes to almighty nature and its members and parts. It would never be control over, but control through, by, or with the nature of nature. If we lose the destructive ego, we can work with almighty nature. You are in the love of, one with, and part of all, also as the activator and motivator of these forces, because you are part of the nature of nature. 9 Ether is the combination of all existing gases in the nature of nature, so Ethiopians cannot name a gas in existence that we are not in tune with in our pure or perfect state. According to correct knowledge imparted on us by the Sacred Master, 9 Ether is the highest of all spiritual or ethereal forces and powers, activated through nature and the hormones of the human nature gods, Nature-U, Alam, manifesting 9 to the 9th power of 9, 999. The sun grows from ethereal or ultra-gaseous matter, ectoplasm, in equatorial Africa at the source of the Nile River called Lake Victoria. That means when you see Ethiopian tides, new buns, you see the Father Sun. Thus whatever the sun does to activate weather conditions is protection for us, his children. These sun powers bring in liberation forces, call on them and they will aid you against all enemies, both foreign, alien or adverse forces, and domestic, among us Ethiopians, but never in hate, but for protection by practicing self-preservation. Moreover, the purpose of the resurrected Ethiopian by nature is to oppress no one or no other race, but our natural goal is to liberate ourselves and keep our race liberated and help other darker races by correct information that they may be able to do the same. We maintain and advocate that every race should have its own territory where it can practice its own way of life, mind its own business, and be master of its own destiny, and a race should do whatever is necessary to attain this goal, which is its rights by nature. But the Caucasian race is not such by nature that will permit this as long as it stays in spiritual, economic, and military powers. So the only hope that we darker races will ever have to be masters of our own destinies is to help nature remove Caucasians from power by practicing the first law of nature, which is self-preservation, and self-preservation has many angles and takes many forms. The prominence projected from the granulation of the sun, 999 solenoids, energizes us powerfully to facilitate higher reasonability in this sun cycle, a cycle which pulls 9 Ether Nubun, mind upward on the circle of existence. These rays, will also deactivate certain ghost mind control projects, some through programming via the usage of microchip technology or remote viewing applications against the children of the sun since World War II, in an effort to damage 9 magnetic particles concentrated in the brain newts, yet they are active in all matter of nature. It is reasonable, practical, and winnable for us to fight first with 9 knowledge, for 9 knowledge gives us new buns the proper guide and helps the sun change the gases of the atmosphere to our favor. Our minds emanate gases. If our minds are negative, the gases are negative and against us. If our minds are positive, the gases are positive and for us, and positive gases of 9 help the 9 sun change the atmosphere to the positive cycle that is growing now. The gases of the atmosphere working on and with our minds are what control and rules. It cannot be stressed enough that just above the vibratory level of the third dimensional reality, that most humanoids live or function on, is where disagreeable or malevolent beings, male violent beings of Leviathan, who have many members and parts, have manipulated the world for more than 16 million years, yet the control is still confined to certain arcs of time, evolutionary quarter. Ghost God's rule is also confined to the moon cycle, which is why his legions are only 6,000 years old. They are stories of nature, crossed up to manipulate and control us. Hurricane Katrina is said to have caused the greatest natural catastrophe the United States of America has ever witnessed, at the time of this writing, killing thousands of Americans in Louisiana, specifically the Crescent City, New Orleans, Alabama, and Mississippi, Biloxi, and displacing thousands more, causing billions of dollars in damages to the Caucasians' economic infrastructure. Almighty nature has to balance itself according to its nature, called the nature of nature. This justice will not be deferred or tempered with mercy for the guilty of the moon cycle. But we say that it will indeed get worse until Armageddon is climaxed with fire, both artificial by way of man's weaponry and natural by way of nature via ether fire of the sun. Just as the moon cycle was the period of forgiveness and mercy, justice is an entire period of time starting with the Libra/Ma epoch of the revolutionary cycle. Since the time of Adam and Eve, real justice was deferred, and therefore, evils and wrongs have continued to pile up, until those injustices have reached their peak, and that peak is supposed to and has triggered Armageddon, the last war of the moon cycle, the war between right and wrong. Justice cannot be destroyed, hence, it was only deferred by mercy and transferred by forgiveness, temporarily. If one iota of justice could be destroyed in the sense that iota exists no more, there would be no such things as wrong and right. Armageddon started before the end of the moon cycle and is still going on all over the world. The moon cycle ended February 1962, but the hangover will not be terminated until the end of Armageddon. For the first time since King Cheops 5,000 years ago, woolly-haired people are being given the real choice between right or wrong, knowledge or ignorance, liberty or serfdom, equality or disparity, justice or injustice, life or death, our own spiritual science Nuwapu or alien religion, meaning, liberty with nine ether or captivity with God and Jesus. When sufficient circulation of these choices has been completed and sufficient time has been allowed to accept or reject these choices through understanding, Armageddon will climax with fire, artificial fire and natural fire. The last war of the moon cycle is called Armageddon. Armageddon started before the end of the moon cycle and will continue until the universe, including orb Earth, is in the rule of liberty, rightness, justice, and equality, again. Armageddon is the war of the resurrection of the mental dead. Armageddon is the showdown between right and wrong, between life and death. Mankind is against the Son of Nature and Absolute Nature, against the Legion of Re and their negative dogma called religion because they are possessed by 666 demonic, 6 ether dead moon, forces called Legion or 333 demonic, 3 ether dead moon, forces called Ghost. However, they really just do what is designed for them to do in the nature of nature, represent death during its reigning cycle. We Ethiopians, as representatives of life, need to be in the Legion of Re as the sons and sons, true stars, of the God Son of Nature, appointed by Absolute Nature the source of light and life on this planet. We are attracted to religion because internally we know they reflect nature deities in us, in all, as all religion is the clandestine worship of nature, Netaru/Naturu. They knew that they represented stories of absolute nature, so these disagreeable beings or negative left side spirit forces have telepathically reinterpreted them back to us, over and over again, to gain power and control over us. However, that school of hell, Hellenism, is over. It's time to be redeemed from hell. It's graduation time, and the positive forces of nature, spirit powers, programmers and controllers of humans, and 9 nature forces from the sun will aid us. Right now, mental energies from the centers of all universe orbs are moving more positive towards Nupu. In addition, the negative forces of nature that rule the bottom half of the SMAT circle of order have a positive side as well as a negative side, and that positive side is partial, favorable to Nupu and no one. And this fact means that, although Nupu is not spirit beings in the bottom half of the order circle, Nupu and no one have spirit beings aid and support and recognition, because spirit beings know, even though they have supported religion for 6,000 years, it is time for us all, spirit beings as well as human beings, to be taken upwards in standards and values and qualities by 9 ether mentality, Nupu, and also 9 mind knowledge, no one, counterclockwise on the SMAT circle of order. Let it be remembered always and known. Sound right reason, 9 reason, Nupu, maintains that all planets have physical life forms, including human forms or forms similar, either on the surface, in the water, or in the ground, or all 3 places like Goddess Mother Earth has. Nonetheless, people seem and tend to be self-centered about their emotions and values on orb Earth when they compare ourselves to the rest of the universe. And that is to say, if peoples on Goddess Earth were the only people in the universe or there be no people in the universe at all, infinite eternal almighty nature would not suffer at all for lack of emotions, qualities, and values, because all universe orbs like stars, planets, and satellites are physical organisms, full of abilities, values, qualities, and also emotions. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. The sun is 9 reason personified. The God Son of our solar system is alive and living inside of all of his children. We are direct physical descendants of the Son of Nature and the physical seed of Mother Earth, his main fertile consorts. To interject, so that it is not taken as gender favoritism, the sun of our solar system happens to be male, however, there are also many female suns in the universes of nature. 9 ether is the highest conscious and conscience gases in absolute nature, and ether is what all the true suns, stars, of nature emanates in their sun rays or rays called prominence. The sun is a product of sound right reasoning, cosmic reason, that operates within the laws of absolute nature. The creation energy called reason is the highest form of reasoning and is thus cosmic reason in nature, 9 reason, whose proper name is the mighty Nupu in the revolutionary philosophy science NOAA/Nun, who are the prime mover in almighty nature. The proper and scientific name of sound right reasoning is indeed Nupu. The creation energy reason is intellect, intelligence, revelation, inspiration, and best mind. In addition, reason is the real creator and true guide in nature, and it is physical in the form of its real bodies, the suns, the true stars of the universes. In other words, a visible creation presupposes, necessitates, and requires a visible creator, and the creator reason shows itself in the forms and persons of the visible physical suns of the universes of eternal almighty nature. The proper and scientific name of sound right reasoning, 9 ether spirit forces and powers, 9 reason, is indeed Nupu, called Yaa-Nun in Ethiopian Egyptian cosmology, i.e., the Memphite philosophy, as disclosed in Introduction to the Nature of Nature. It was foretold in Bible Interpretations and Explanations, Booklet 2, 1968, page 6. With this in mind, how intelligent would you equate the Son of Nature to be? It is indeed the creator or grower of the elements, periodical elements and ether elements, that make up anything and everything you see, both artificial, man-made or manipulated, or natural, or nature real. Ether fire from the Son of Nature is the true source of our solar biology. Mental liberation knowledge informs us that before woolly-haired people were called Negroes by Caucasians, we were called Ethiopians, and before we were known as Ethiopians by the Greeks, we were called Nubians by the ancients. The words Ethiopian and Nubian are the same in meaning. They both mean ether, the light-giving burning energies that the sun produces called prominences and sunshine. The Caucasian, the white man and woman, never taught black people that sunshine is ether, because, if they had, some of us would have been able to reason out our origin many years ago, but one of Caucasian purposes is to keep Ethiopians ignorant so we can be used against ourselves for Caucasian benefit and well-being. Remember, when we say Ethiopian, we are not referring only to woolly-haired people born in the state of Africa known as Ethiopia, but woolly-haired people wherever they are, namely, all people in the Ethiopian race. The root of the word Ethiopian is the word ether, and it means our origin is the sun, because the sun is 9, and 9 ether sun produces the Ethiopian race. And what exactly is prominence? Prominent, adjective. 1. Projecting outward or upward from a line or surface, protuberant. 2. Immediately noticeable, conspicuous. See synonyms at noticeable. 3. Widely known, eminent. Etymology, Middle English, from Latin prominence, prominent, present participle of prominere, to jut out, to jut, threaten. Prominence, noun. 1. The quality or condition of being prominent. 2. Something prominent, especially an area of land raised above its surroundings. 3. Anatomy, a small projection or protuberance. 4. Astronomy, a tongue-like cloud of flaming gas rising from the sun's surface, visible as part of the corona during a total solar eclipse. Do you see in the definition how prominence or being prominent is a threat to them, and how it also means to go upwards? It also alludes to the sacred mound, land raised above its surroundings. Photosphere. Noun. The visible outer layer of a star, especially of the sun. Chromosphere. Noun. 1. An incandescent, transparent layer of gas, primarily hydrogen, several thousand miles in depth, lying above and surrounding the photosphere of a star, such as the sun, but distinctly separate from the corona. 2. A gaseous layer similar to a chromosphere around a star. The atmosphere immediately surrounding the sun is called chromosphere by mundane scientists, and the surface of the sun they name the photosphere, circle of light, radiant energy, its crown of life, i.e., the crown-like upper portion of a bodily part or structure, such as the top of the head, is the corona, like the great eye of Ra, L-R-O-I, to see, like the cornea, the main refractive surface of the eye. The sun is 9 by nature, or a 9-ball sphere, in space, matter, and time. It's a living fact that it sees, witnesses, all, the true all-seeing eye of Ra/Re, yet the moon only sees from one side, i.e. one eye. The true suns of the universes of nature that emanate ether have natural membrane sensors within that work like natural thermostats. When natural ether in the magnetic field of the sun decreases in real strength, and also degree to the point lower than the thermostat, temperature sensor, by the laws of nature, the sun-involved exhales more natural and mental ether called prominence, by mundane scientists, and tongues of fire, by philosophers, into the sun's magnetic field from the ocean of ether within the sun that is already prepared for the purpose of bringing the ether strength of the sun back up to par or sufficient level and degree in the magnetic field of the sun. Question to those who turned away, didn't he say he was sent to give all answers above and below the sun? Did you trust in that word? Some still do. As previously stated, the level of ether just left 3 ether, ghost ether, and is moving towards 4 ether, which will take 3 million years to complete. Thus, the ether strength increases in the 18 million year long revolutionary cycle, raising the mental ether, reasonability, ascending reason, within ether utopians also, and activating our sun heat genes, melanin. This is an intelligent and orderly plan, obviously involving sound right reasoning, and is not haphazard or just impulsive thinking, descending reason, that trigger chaotic actions. The 4th dimension is the rebirth of 9 ether growing as it is pulled back up to 9 mind at point 9 north, ascending reason. Remember, the Trinity in Ethiopian true culture was really, the holy 9 ether father sun, the 6 ether sun/sun, and the 3 ether, ghost, which is not a sun at all, but a weak reflection of it called the moon and is far from holy. There is no difference in a ghost of any form. It represents the death of all death gases, fog, seen as white or pale mist, moon mist. These degrees of emanations of ether exist as one in absolute nature, the one supreme being, yet operate at different strengths or phases within the various season cycles of nature and its existences as all space, all matter, and all time. The blackness that the Caucasian gets by basking in the sun is temporary, for as soon as he or she quits basking, that person starts getting paler. But it is different with the Ethiopian. Our blackness is inherent from the sun, that is, our being the sun's original offspring. He empowered us Ethiopians with the same powers that he has the power to be black and produce black offspring. In other words, our skin is black because, like the sun, we Ethiopians have in our reproductive system and marrow of our bones what called sun heat genes, and these sun heat genes become part of the blood and they emanate outward to the skin, and our sun heat genes burn the skin black. The more sun heat genes one has, the blacker that person will be. Therefore, being black is being superior in color, because the suns of the universes are jet black, and they are superior to all other universal bodies. Hence, black is not only beautiful but also the best and purest of the colors. The sun is male and Mother Earth is female. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominences. The sun has antennae called granulation, and Ethiopians' woolly hair looks like that granulation. So our woolly hair may correctly be called granulation, using an English expression. If one puts a straight strand of hair closer and closer to a fire, that strand of hair will granulate, that is, ball up because of the potency of the heat. The Ethiopian carries his inner sun within, and we appeared on planet Earth at a time when no other race could survive in the Earth's atmosphere, because just after creation the atmosphere was too dense and potent for the weakness of human beings called mankind. Mankind is all peoples with straight hair by nature. The Ethiopian became identified with mankind down through evolution. Moreover, the sun heat genes in those who had to live in the Earth's original atmosphere had to be much stronger than those of mankind who came much later. In other words, the sun heat genes in the African pygmies were so dense and potent in their bone marrow and reproductive system, they turned the hair kinky, as fire does to a straight strand of hair. Hence, woolly hair is superior to straight hair, as the suns are superior to other universal bodies. Woolly hair by nature assures the Ethiopian that he and she are the originals on the planets, thereby the original personifications of the suns. We bigger Ethiopians evolved from the smaller Ethiopian now called the African pygmies who live in equatorial Africa.